this webinar, we want to talk about how to become a data analyst or scientist in 2024, because we know last year was a very interesting year, and this year we are trying to prepare ourselves to be able to have the skills that we need to get in 2024. So we hope to make this a kind of annual something so that every beginning of the year we can have a meeting like this for those interested in getting into the data analytics or data science career. And then a couple of weeks down, we are going to have something for those who are more interested in machine learning and Gen AI, so that we can also talk about how to prepare for the new year, because technology changes so fast and it's good to be able to catch up. So let's move on then. Here's our agenda for today. We are going to talk about data analytics or data science. And then we are also going to look at the key highlights of 2023. We are also going to talk about 2024 now, what to expect in 2024, and focus is 2024. Also, we are going to discuss how to skill up, and then we'll have lots of questions and answers. That's the last thing. So a bit about me, for those who don't know me, I am Cyril Bandolo. So I have been in the data analytics and data science space for more than a decade. I am also an AWS machine learning hero. So for those who don't know, it's more of people who do a lot of technical work, especially like machine learning is a technical category, and then you also are able to share with the community. So that's another discussion for another day. So I'm also a senior cloud developer for Serverless Guru. I'm the owner of the YouTube channel Data Science with Cyril. Those of you who went through the analytic challenge of last year, you would know that. And the founder of Analytics CFD Center for Data, which is this platform which is helping people to learn about data science, data analytics, and machine learning. So now let's move on. So, um, so what has changed in analytics? The key thing is it's bound to always change. So that's why I say we need to make this kind of annual, because there is that evolution. We can't like put it in a box. If some of you were aware of the news last year, sometime mid-year, Elon Musk and a group of people teamed up trying to ban the development of AI, further development of AI. It didn't work. So it's just to start the page by saying there would always be change. Technology would always change. We just have to find a way to cope with technology. So you just have to find a way to cope with technology, because insofar as we keep moving forward, there would always be somebody who is trying to get ahead of the crowd. So that's why if you see from here, we're moving from, it was first of all just spreadsheets, which were physical documents, Excel came, then we're moving to Python, and then now we're talking about generative AI. So this is just to tell you that there is always that evolution, and we should not be surprised, and we should always expect it. So somebody already asked the question in the chat, Shiraz, I think. So this is to show you that there is that intersection between data analytics, data science, because we have to first understand what they do. So problem framing is something that the data scientists and data analytics personnel would always want to do. So there is a business problem. We want to understand if this problem can be solved maybe by analytics, or is it a political problem, or it's just a problem with, I don't know, you need to analyze the problem. Now, when you frame the problem, you need to collect the data. So the data analyst would collect the data just as the data scientist would collect the data, maybe differently, but there is a data collection. Maybe data scientists would use more sophisticated tools, access more of the data lakes, while the analytics person would use SQL, which we'll see, to access the data, or Excel, but then they'll collect the data. Then you have to process the data. So you have this raw data, maybe it's secondary data, data that was not made by you, made by somebody else. And then that person now is, you're using that data for a specific purpose. You can use that data for several different use cases. So you will need to clean that data. You need to process it. If it's a data scientist, you'll be processing it so that it can fit your machine learning models. A data analyst will be processing it also so that they can fit the dashboard. That's where we are going closer to the separation. So there is that data analysis that is always done, which is mostly exploratory data analysis, because you have descriptive, diagnostic, exploratory, predictive. So the data analyst is not too concerned with predictive analysis, but it's changing as the years are going by. That spread, they want the data analyst to also be able to do some predictive analysis, for example. So the data analytics personnel now would be more focused on branching to the left here to data visualization, so that you can now be thinking of things like Power BI, Tableau, trying to come up with a dashboard which tells a story, so that we are able to picture there is the trend, it's increasing, it's dropping, it's that you're trying to manage the trend. While on the right now, you see the data scientist would be like, okay, I have explored this data using my data analytics skills. And for some reason, the data has too many missing values. It's not even profitable to build a model on it because it will not help us. So I'm going to go back to step 2 here and try to collect new data. So this data, so you see there's some big intersection between what these two do, so that you can be able to know on the data analysis side, you end up doing visualization. On the data science side, you would end up building a model that you can deploy, like a model that predicts. So that's where the data scientist will build something and then be able to say, give me a text and I'm going to draw a picture for you or so. So it's more of they build the models, and then the data scientists are analysts are focused on the dashboards. If I see a mic is on, you wanted to ask a question on ABS? Okay, so I'll just mute. So we move on then. So now let's look at where you as a data analyst can work also, because there's that intersection between data analytics and data science. You can, like, they work together in most instances. In telecom, you would be doing things like customer segmentation and profiling. Your phones, you have different segments in a telecom company. So maybe when you dial your phone, the offers you have are not the same as the offers I have. So that's your job as an analyst, to be able to look at behaviors of different clients and come up with some form of segmentation, predict and control churn. So be able to know, is it a specific set of products that people buy and then they leave the company? So you should be able to predict that and be able to get things like customer lifetime value, so that we can know how much does a customer cost to the company, for that we can know these are the kind of promotions we can do, or how much revenue do we expect a customer to bring to the company. So these are the kind of, this how much we can spend to acquire a new customer. So in banking, there is fraud detection, risk, to be able to determine who gets the loan, who doesn't get the loan, products, to come up with new products, take out products that are not performing well. In e-commerce, you have to customize offers online, make sure that people have personalized pricing. Supply chain, you work on that as well, and also reduce risk. So in healthcare, you manage diseases. So it's just to show you that the data analyst works in across every industry, because all about every company has data, and you're trying to use the data to make sense out of it. So that is clear. Now let's go straight to what were some of the key highlights of 2023, so that we can have enough time to talk, and then we have lots of questions, because it's an opportunity for us to interact. So one of the key highlights we all know is that we had generative AI reach its peak of popularity. I think every single person who never knew about generative AI before knew about it in 2023. So you had things like ChatGPT that's are still marvelous now. We have the OpenAI saga towards the end of the year. The CEO is dropped on Friday, comes back on Monday. So there's lots of things that happened last year that everybody must have heard somehow about generative AI, and Elon Musk's petition to stop AI from going so fast and all that. So it's clear that we all last year was the year AI really came to the forefront, and there was that anxiety. People were like worried we're going to lose our jobs, things like that. That last year was really that year of fear, and also we had these massive layoffs, which was what we saw last year. And there was that confusion between, okay, maybe AI is going to take jobs, or AI, is it irresponsible? Companies hired pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, and then post-pandemic, there are lots of renovations, lots of analysis that are done. So there was a massive layoffs that we all noticed last year. And the recession, that there was that fear of recession in the US, but the recession also in Europe because of the political instability. So we noticed that last year was a year filled with layoffs and recession as well. And then the third key thing of last year was that there's that move towards democratization. So democratization just has more to do with, let's not be working in silos. There is the finance team on their side having their data. Okay, I'm just going to mute you guys. Yeah. So there is the data team on one side, there is the accounting and finance team on the other side, there's the marketing on the other side, but they are not really working together. But we saw that even when we think of things like natural language programming, being able to use, say, ChatGPT, I'm using it because it's an example of something that we can easily relate to, being able to use things like those to get queries from different departments about the company. Augmented analytics, which is also being able to leverage machine learning under the hood to be able to do your analysis. We'll talk a bit more about this again as we start looking at 2024, because it's something that's going to be very interesting this year. And then cloud-based platforms as well. So the cloud has done a lot and has done a lot of promotion. Okay, good question. What's NLP? NLP is natural language programming. So anything that has to do with translation using text. So it is that training the computer to use text to be able to predict maybe the next word, summarize the text, use this text to give me an image. So this is all that saga. So all this chat GPT, all these things about text, because don't forget, there is also vision, computer vision. That is when you talk about daily things like self-driving cars. The car has to see like a human. That's the eyes. So natural language programming is the speaking, computer vision is the seeing. So we have been on speaking like the whole 2023. So seeing will still come again. So now let's move on. I hope I answered your question. So let's move on then. Auto ML and auto data analysis tools came out. So we had, yeah, there have been auto machine learning tools before for Google, but we also have things like AWS coming up with their Canvas, SageMaker, trying to make sure that they push that forward, that low code, no code idea. And then even GPT-4 came up with something which, if you were very observant last year, it was also a form of anxiety, because you could be able to give GPT some data, and it's going to build visualizations for you, do your exploratory data analysis for you, come up with summary, and it's just like you're just about to publish the report. So we're like, okay, then why would they need analysts again? But so the last year was really filled with drama. And then, but at the end, the big but at the end is that we realize that we don't forget the humans. After all, hallucinations, all the things that happen, we are here and we said human involvement is very critical, because at the end of the day, they need a human. We always need a human to check, to be able to say, this is good, this is correct, this can go to production, this may not be able to go to production. So we turned around the cycle and we came back. So, and that's what is giving us hope now. So let's move on then. And if you see from the trends gotten from interview query here for the big tech, so you see that there was there's that decline, but because this is towards August, so this started seeing a small increase, but you see that there's been that recession has really hit us. And if you look at it on the right side, you would see the data analyst jobs have the highest share. So because they're citizen data analyst, you can be the data analyst for the finance department, you can be the data analyst in hospital, you can be in. So as you've seen, there's always this need. And then you see that other jobs too, data scientists also, we have that increase, data engineer, machine learning engineers, almost same. So yes, it's true that there was a general drop, but then we see a slight increase. And we also see that the data analyst job compared July 2023, August 2023, we see that there is light on the other side of the tunnel, and we just need to keep pushing on and acquiring our skills and moving forward. So what now do we have to expect in 2024? Is that we expect, number one, more democratization. Again, I should be able to query this data and ask about any question, what is happening with some people's access and what's happening to people on the management team if I have the permissions, what is happening to people on the finance team, whatever. So everything needs to come together in one piece so that we can be able to have a centralized system that can have intelligence at any moment. That's why there are some services, if you've been following maybe AWS, services like Amazon Q, which is able to connect to all you have in your account, your organization, even all the accounts you have in your organization, and you can ask questions based on the rights that you have to see certain information. It will not give you certain information because it looks at your permissions that the administration has given you, and it's not going to answer certain questions for you. So we are moving towards democratization. Everybody should trust where the data is coming from. And that's why there's that opportunity for more citizen data science roles where you have the data scientists sitting in the technology, the technical team. He understands all the outages, all the bandwidth, and is able to analyze in that language. We have the data science team sitting in marketing, understands everything that has to do with new gross ads, churn. So it's the opportunities are just going to be there if you are able to bring together all the different silos and analyze them all in one block. So we also have more of augmented analytics that we expect this year. So it's more of the integration of AI and ML into analytics products. So we have more of I just sit, I query something, or I use some code assistant like Copilot, or I'm using something like Code Whisperer, and it's going to just help me to build my code. So we will see more of that augmented, like some kind of support, like you have wheelchair, like you're using analytics as augmented analytics, supporting your analytics with machine learning and generative AI and all that under the hood so that it makes your work faster using ChatGPT at the side and all those things. So we just have to embrace technology and ChatGPT as our assistant and be able to move forward. So we also expect more cloud integrations. So the cloud, because some people, the database is getting bigger and some companies don't want to invest in warehouses. So they better put them in the cloud so that you can just connect from the cloud. You have the data governance because everything is in the same storage. I have the access, you don't have the access, the next person has the access, and we just work in the same, maybe a bucket or the same storage. So there are going to be more cloud integrations as well. And then the key thing that we need to remember and we need to always focus on, I think this would probably be every year on this slide, every time we meet, is that we have to remember that we are end-to-end problem solvers because the technology would want to go on one end. Maybe the modeling is automated for you. Okay, but what about framing the problem? Somebody needs to sit and say, this is the problem we are facing. I'll go get the data from X, not from Y or not from Z, or get from X, Y, Z and combine and come up with something. Maybe call the model thing to do the automatic thing, give me the answer. Then I'm going to put it in a PowerPoint, book for a meeting, and then share it with my bosses and follow up that it is implemented, remind them. So it's more of you have to think end to end because certain parts are being automated, but then we need to be able to take from the beginning, here is the problem I want to solve. Here are all the steps. Again, you saw the steps in the slide before. Then this is the solution. So we are here to solve problems. There will be so many technologies that will come out, and the marketing will be, okay, this technology is better than this one. Drop off Python. There's a new one which is faster, which runs better, which has less weight, things like that. But at the end of the day, what problem are you solving? Okay, so I have a hand up, Phyllis. Yeah, I'll just ask the question briefly, then we go, because I also wanted to go quickly, then we ask the questions. But go on, you have the
Sorry,
floor.
it's not a question. I've people struggling to join. Can I have like a direct Zoom link, please?
Okay. Can anybody help drop that in the chat so I could just go on, and please someone to drop the invite in the chat. I'll be very grateful. And I'm already seeing some questions from Seras Malik. Thanks so much. We are going to go through all of them. So what I want to be ensure I do is I talk so that we don't answer something that we are going to talk about. And then when we get to the questions, there will be more that we are going to share. So if you want to invite people, invite them, so that we can have this opportunity to interact. Most of the time I'm doing YouTube videos, and we might not really have. Yeah, so we need this. Okay, so thanks for that intervention. So let's move on then. End-to-end problem solving. If you have to take something home, if you don't learn anything from this session today, just know that think problem solving end-to-end. And that's why we talk about the T-shaped learning, where you need to understand a bit of everything. But yes, you have that broad understanding of, okay, what the data engineer will probably be doing, what the machine learning engineer will be doing, what the data scientist will be doing, what the data analyst will be doing. But then when it comes to your visualization skills, choosing pie charts over bar charts, over area charts, things like that, you are the boss, the T. You're deep, but you have this understanding. So let's move on then. Yeah, you can also leave your questions in the chat like Shiraz has done. We are going to trash all of that. That's why we are here. So there is always this question, what about ChatGPT? I know I've started answering it already, but I want to call your attention briefly to what are your core activities as a data analyst, or your core skills. This is the core. It's difficult for it to be automated. I don't know, maybe 10 years, the way technology is moving, nobody really knows. But this year, you need to understand the business. That's why you understand healthcare, you understand telecom, you understand this. It's your domain knowledge. Then you have that analytics mindset of knowing, again, this visualization, this pie chart, this bar chart, this is what I need, or this is how I'm going to approach this problem. There are different types of problems every day. You need to analyze that and know if it's a problem that needs a model or an Excel or some mathematical solution, or it's a problem that it's different. It's not in your control. It's not something that you can manage. You just need to report it to the regulation, or I don't know, auditors, whatever. You need that analytics mind. Communication is very important, because a machine cannot be able to share the ideas like you, a human, would be able to share your ideas. Take that model, take that conclusion, that finding, take that insight, and go book a meeting and sell it. Explain it to your boss. You can't do without communication. So these core skills, there's no automation of it. Then you have the technology around. You must not learn everything here, but these are the tools that you need, because maybe you're in a company which has so much data, and then Excel cannot help you with more than maybe 1 million rows of data. So you need to pick on SQL, for example. But if you are in a small company, a small country, a small customer base, you might not need to go that deep. You just use your Excel and you're fine with it. Then you also have machine learning that you might want to learn. You also have things like Python that maybe you might need as an analyst, but as a data scientist, you need them, because that is where you'll be able to build the predictive models. So you might not need them. And then there's support. There's always been Google. Let me Google this problem. Stack Overflow. Let me go ask Stack Overflow if somebody has this issue. Now there's more. Let me go ask ChatGPT. Let me go ask BAT. Let me go ask Amazon Q. Let me go ask Bing AI. So why do we think AI is supposed to replace us completely? because it will only the person who is using AI will be the person that will replace you. Because then I'm a CEO. I know that AI can maybe predict, I don't know, the sales for me. I also know that AI can predict my network load, can predict my marketing techniques, my whatever. Okay. So I, the CEO, will be querying ChatGPT for all the departments. No, I'm going to have a couple of people, which will be you, who will query ChatGPT and ask, okay, how can we manage how look at our data and trust this chart, and then say, no, I don't like this chart. It doesn't tell a full story. Select just two charts and send to the CEO and say, okay, this is the action we need to take. Then he's going to send a technical guy, go query that chat GPT thing and tell it to tell me how we're going to manage the network. So you should be that person who is sent to, and because he knows you know the prompts, you know how to interpret it, you know how to say, no, this is wrong, you know how to tweak it, you know how to tease it and give the response. So the person using AI will be the one that will replace, but not the AI itself. So it's very important. And then let's go now quickly to the skills so that we can have enough time to have our chat. But then anytime anybody has any question, you can always keep that and then we talk about it later. So there's a big artificial intelligence topic. Just understanding the scope is anything that a machine does, tries to do that a human is doing. It could be robots. It could be trying to just open a door and close the door. It could be you wash your hand and then you put your hand under a machine, it dries your hand. That's just artificial intelligence. But does it use data? Does it use statistics? That is when you start talking about machine learning now. So machine learning is just a subset that uses data to be able to predict. So it's now a specific part of artificial intelligence, not just putting your hand and washing hands and removing your hand, putting your hand and washing hands, but whatever. It's more of data. Then you also have now deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, which tries to mimic the human brain. That's why if you've been doing some machine learning or reading something around it, they'll be talking of things like using neural networks, neurons, kind of the wiring of our brain. So that is okay, yes, let me mute Noni, thanks. So that is kind of like the wiring of our brain. So we are deep learning is trying to mimic it. Then what now is Gen AI? Gen AI is just a subset of deep learning, trained now with more parameters. So they use the whole internet, use encyclopedia, use everything to make the model again more dynamic, more general purpose. You can ask it about this, going to answer. You ask it about football, it's going to answer. You ask it about handball, basketball, anything, soccer, whatever, is going to respond to you. So it's a subset of machine learning, which is still a subset of deep learning. And all of this is artificial intelligence. So, and where do you stand as a data scientist? You need to understand all of this. That's why the data science role is usually very, very broad. And at times, some people say it's vague because you need to be able to know, now I have to play my Gen AI card now. I have to play my deep learning card. I mean, the traditional deep learning models, which are not Gen AI. I have to play my traditional machine learning model card now, because not every problem is a Gen AI problem. And that's something that I think this year people realize, that Gen AI is not a magic one. Not every problem is a Gen AI problem. So we need to be able to stand and, I mean, you need to understand that it's not a magical something. So now look at the data science again. Look at it very well. You still have the maths and stats and visualization, which is what the data analyst is supposed to know, because we talked about dashboarding when we started this. Exploratory data analysis sounds like a data analyst, right? So data scientist is usually, for me, your natural evolution from a data analyst. You would want to evolve to a data scientist because it makes you, again, more that Swiss knife. You are more flexible. At times, you can wear the hat of visualization specialist just using Power BI in a company, and that's somebody's job description. At times, you are doing some exploratory data analysis, and then at times, you're using your predictive analytic skills to be able to come up with what do we expect to see in the future. So understand this, you will be able to understand how the trends are moving. So now let's go now to the next, which is here. I'll just click here. So here Again, if you want to look at the skills, we will see that you have your domain knowledge, which we talked about already in that circle, those Venn diagrams. You need to understand the domain, communicate, communication again, and communication again. That is what takes you up the ladder. Your analytic skills can get you that first job interview, but communication is what will make you a boss or a manager or whatever, or take you higher. That's something which is, there's no way you can change that now. So problem solving, also critical thinking, and then on the technical side, you don't have to understand everything. You always start from somewhere. Excel is always the beginner. Everybody has it on their computer. SQL, when your Excel, your database starts getting big, Excel can't work anymore. SQL, and then Power BI, real-time visualization, because the bosses want to see something in real time. And then we have math statistics, because you just need to understand basic math, at least. What is the mean? Am I using the mode now? Am I using the median now? What is the standard deviation? What does this graph tell me about? Maybe is it left positively skewed, negatively skewed? So some basic things just to be able to tell a story with your data. Then, of course, machine learning, even if it's understanding how they work, how it works, and then just to be able to understand what could be wrong with the answer I'm getting. Deep learning. And then that's when you also understand that it's not a magic one. Garbage in, garbage out. Now you also have the cloud, which is here. Most people are trying to move to the cloud because it has all these services plus security all in one. So AWS, Azure, I mean, all of this is just that you don't need to like one day or block yourself up and say, I'm going to master all of this before I get out. It's a holistic journey. ETL, because we are trying to move backwards. There's data ops, trying to go back to get the data ourselves from the data engineers. So extract, transform, load. There is big data now because we have lots of data coming from your smartwatches, WhatsApp, cameras, all there. We have lots of sensors now generating data. So you can also use that. You need to understand how to harness data with a distributed computing skill. And then also, of course, software development. That's one of the big things because, okay, Gen AI, okay, I ask a question and I get the answer, but how can I create it like a whole application for my company where I connect that to all our database, our SQL, our Postgre database, and then when the boss asks how much sale did we make this month, it's private, it's our own data, it's not shared anywhere. The racks, they are going to go and fetch that data and bring it to the boss. And he says, oh, wow, this thing is good. I just need to ask it. I don't need to be calling you at midnight to get these answers. So you might just need to add those skills. So it's really a lot, but one day at a time. That's one of the most important things you should know. So again, for domain knowledge, I'll not need to go over this for long. You can always try to find resources, but you need to know the business model, speak the language of the business. You need to be a problem solver. So every project is different. You're always thinking, critical thinking. You need to try to challenge the status quo. You are there to challenge, but why? Ask 5 whys. Communication, I will not repeat this again. Communication, communication, communication. And it's creativity too. You need to think, okay, I could think of it in a deep learning way, machine learning, Gen AI, whatever. Then you come up with something because you're so dynamic. Let's look at some of those tools again, the skills again. Excel is still there. It's very good because it's able to help you communicate with other team members. So Excel is not going anywhere. So you need to be able to just get some data from your boss and say, give it to me. I'm going to build the reports for you. So it's not going anywhere. So Chandu is very good for that. And there are other resources as well. SQL, I always love Khan Academy because they have this basic SQL. You can complete that in just a very short space of time just to be able to get you started. Then that's Khan Academy. And then statistics as well. It's good to know your basics, as we said, mean, median, basic things. Don't think that you need to be able to do a statistics research or advance. I mean, you don't need to, you just to be able to say, okay, here's the chart, and I see that the mean is this way, or the mode is this way, or it's more positively skewed because the mean is on the left, but most of the data is on the right. So there is a problem. Simple. So that is something you need to know. And also, now Python for data analysts is not too like, it's not very necessary, But then if you also want to keep moving, you can also learn that. But for data scientists, it's a must. So you also have this free course from you. There are so many courses. I just have to put one here at least, but you can always find them. Machine learning resources, you have Andrew, who is head of DeepMind. So it has lots of good courses on machine learning and deep learning. So you can start with your machine learning. And then also, if you want to learn how to do your your machine learning or your data analytics or data science on a cloud like AWS, AWS also has free resources which you can use as well. And for those who know, I did a challenge, 90 days of analytics challenge, where each day I released a video, as you can see here. Day one, the overview. Day two, what is analytics? What are some job requirements? The core skills, Excel. Then we saw every single day, one day at a time, we are able to take one step, and by 90 days, we have projects on Excel, Power BI, Python. So you can, and I also showed you how to use GitHub to put it on your resume. So you can always go back to the YouTube channel, Data Science with Cyril, and take that challenge one day at a time. By the end of it, you're definitely going to acquire some skills. And then this year, especially coming this year, is a machine learning challenge. So if you've been following me on LinkedIn and Twitter, I was doing some sample to see, should we do a 60 days or 90 days? 90 days from my experience last year was long, both for me and for the people participating. So I was thinking maybe 60 days, but then machine learning has a lot of interesting material, or maybe break them down. There is a first 60 days or so, and then now the next one after I break. So I'm still looking at that, but then this is what I think we need to cover: Python for data science, basic maths, statistics, machine learning, understanding that machine learning, understanding that deep learning, understanding natural language processing. Then before going to the Gen AI, which everybody is rushing to, maybe starting from Gen AI before going backwards, Gen AI, so that we can look at things like OpenAI, which is the API that ChatGPT is using, LangChain, which helps you to connect those APIs, Amazon Bedrock from AWS, and then MLOps, machine learning operations, so that you can have that pipeline, that full end-to-end solution. Like we said, take something, do whatever you want to do with it, which is a mix of DevOps, data engineer, and machine learning is MLOps. So that take something, data from somewhere, do all you want to do, and give us a response, give us an answer that is usable, build something that we can consume. So we are going to talk about how to use GitHub Actions. And I know GitHub launched their certification just last week on GitHub Actions. So it can also be an opportunity for you to be good at using CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development, and then SageMaker from AWS, which is Swiss knife for machine learning, Gen AI, and all these things that we are talking about here, and MLOps. So let's move on then. So if you're interested in the challenge, you can join the Discord. We have a Discord channel. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, whatever you want, even on the WhatsApp groups. I'm tired of managing so many WhatsApp groups. Then maybe we'll just move straight to the Discord and Telegram. But then if you're interested, we can do that. So I would like now to go to the questions and let's discuss some of those. I already see some questions in the chat. But if anybody wants to turn on the mic, you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, any doubts, any regrets, we are here for this on this webinar. And I'm thinking we could have something for Gen AI and machine learning, a webinar, discuss about what is needed before maybe the challenge starts. So let's go. Questions. Okay, I already see some in the chat. Yeah. So, okay, what exactly is data science? Malik, I'm sure that one is already answered. So how is data science different from computer science and related branches such as AI? I'm sure that is already answered. If you can just come and confirm that's okay. Yeah, okay. Somebody wants to speak? Yeah, you have the floor. Rayman.
Hello, what's up, bro?
I'm cool, Rayman. Tell me.
Uh, Recently I joined your meeting. Can you please tell me what is the purpose of that meeting?
Okay, yeah, it's just to prepare you for the data analytics and data science skills, what is needed this year. We looked at last year and next and this year. So we have
Oh, nice,
anyway,
brother. Nice, nice.
yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
yes.
Nice
And
to meet
then
you, bro. Nice to meet you.
anything on data analyst, data scientist, machine learning, you can always ask those questions. I'm seeing some questions already here. So I think Malik, we already have answers to your AI and machine learning engineering. So I still a beginner, intermediate. Yes, thanks for sharing me your skill levels. So if someone is looking to break into data science and data analysis, should they pursue BS, DS? Okay. So so can we get the recording of this session? Oh yeah. So in reality, okay, yeah, Leonard, I'll come to you. So in reality, the key thing is to get these skills. HR, the recruitment guys, they like degrees, certifications. But then if you're able to build your projects and answer interview questions, like because the certification guys always get called for interviews, but then they may ask you simple questions and you might not be able to respond. But if you're also on the other hand able to build your portfolio, share what you're learning, then you may not need to have all this because it's more of what value can you bring on the table. It's an applied science. So I have knowledge about Excel. Yes. I recording. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thanks for reminding me to record. I think I'm recording. I completed the Google certificate and currently planning on upgrading my skills, go into data science, also looking for entry-level work in the data space. Okay, that's cool. Just put to practice what you learn. The first thing is learn the techniques, learn what is supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. Now you know, apply them. When you apply them, you're going to learn a lot. I have a post on LinkedIn like that concerning 10, I think 9 things you gain from building projects. There are so many. You're also going to notice your knowledge gaps, what you learn, what you lack. You're also going to improve your communication skills. You're going to be able to be seen when you share what you do, and you have a link on your resume to add. You have something to add on your resume, like, okay, this is my portfolio, and share to somebody. An interview, you have an interesting conversation. I've had many situations where people call you for a job interview and they ask you, okay, let's open your GitHub. Let's look at the project you have built and tell me why you use Python, for example, and where were the challenges you faced and what will you do differently next time. Easy as that. Okay, so I saw Leonard, your hand was up. Okay, Leonard, your hand was up earlier. Can you go with your question first? Then we are going to go to Omar, please. Are you still, or if I've answered your question? Leonard, can you?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Perfectly. Shoot.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Thanks. Yeah,
Uh,
same to you. Shoot. Yeah, thanks.
yeah, sure. So I'm one of the, for those who don't know, I'm one of the beneficiaries of last year's 90 days of analytics. So mine is not necessarily a question. The first part is just, I just want to encourage everyone that when we start the new challenge this year, they should join. It has done a lot in terms of my journey as someone who is interested in data and learning the skills that I've been able to apply in different projects that we're doing at work. So this is just an appeal to everyone who is interested, not to work hard and try to learn as much as you can, and not just learning the skills, but also try to apply in whatever you do. It helps a lot in terms of your as part of your learning journey. My question now is on the next what we are doing this year on the machine learning challenge. There is an issue to
Yeah.
do with mathematics. I just want to understand what type of mathematics is it necessarily needed when we are doing data science projects and machine learning uh, activities. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Leonard. Again, congratulations. You completed the challenge last year and you got the award. So that's very good. You were also sharing your knowledge with the rest of the students. We also were very appreciative of that. So as for your question, it's more of calculus, linear algebra, but then you can go to too much maths. There's never enough maths. And then with the tools coming up and all the things that are supporting you, like the tools that are available now, there is a, okay, we are going to stop here. Then we also build other skills. But then it's just being able to understand the basics of your statistics, understanding just basic. I mean, the maths can go crazy because you're not, the key thing is you're not doing it for research. Okay, if you were doing it to be a researcher, to come up with a new model to challenge ChatGPT, for example, fine, you need lots of maths to be able to understand all that is going on. But this is just to be able to, at some point in time, I'm getting the answer I'm not satisfied with. It can even just trigger your mind that, okay, maybe I need more layers in my neural network, or maybe my activation function, I need to change it from a sigmoid maybe to a tan edge or whatever. It's just to give you a feeling of something seems to be going on here that maybe I need to ask somebody else or research more. But you can never end. The maths can be endless. So we have to like give a basic, and then you can also be building up parallelly, because you might take 10 years doing maths, then you want to come to do machine learning. We keep moving with technology. So let's move on then. The next question, we had Omar. So Leonard, I hope it's okay, right? It's fine, right?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Omar, you had a question. Do you still have the question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, should I start applying for roles even though I'm in the process of like learning analyst skills and I don't have any experience in it? So should I start applying now or should I start applying after I learned the skills and everything like Excel and SQL and like write down on LinkedIn that I'm learning Excel and SQL?
Oh yeah, you need to put on your CV something, like project is very cool. When you have a project, some links of projects on your CV, so they will give you the call, so that, okay, this is what I've done. This is because you're like, have he done the job before? Can he do the job? And you see,
I'm saying, should I start applying now though? That's what I'm saying.
okay, what are you going to put on your CV?
I'm in
Like
the
what you've
process
done.
of learning Excel. I have already a degree in biomed, but like I've done like an analyst role kind of in biomed, but I'm still
Okay.
like in the process of learning like more in-depth Excel, SQL, etc. You know, I'm writing
Okay.
that down on my CV, basically.
Okay, no, it's never wrong to apply, because you still have to learn some interview skills. So it's always good to apply. Besides, the only downside is a no, and the upside is you coming and posting that you got lots of money now in the bank account. So you can always apply parallelly while you're learning. Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's go to the chat. A few questions in the chat. So I think Malik, is okay that you have the difference. You can always, you don't need to go you don't need to have BSc, or I mean you can always get the skills, and once you have the skills, you can start applying for jobs like Omar is requesting. So I have knowledge about Excel. Yes. I recording. Yes. I completed the analytics certificate, planning on upgrading my skills. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we saw that. So data engineering, and what is a data pipeline? Yeah, so the data engineer is just most of the time data comes from different sources. So some companies just want to specialize. Somebody has to take the data from, maybe in our internal system, my name is Cyril Bandolo, but on another system we are working, or the accountants are entering data, my name there is Bandolo Cyril. So things like that. We are trying to bring all of this together and put them on the data in a data lake or a data warehouse, so that you can connect your Power BI to. So they are more of the back, like, think of them like the defenders. So the ingredients in a kitchen, we build fancy models. We are the attackers, but then at the back, we are using the data engineers. Oh, somebody's distracting me. Yeah. Abide is distracting me. Okay, so let's move on then. They also look for entry-level work. So data pipeline, what is an end-to-end problem solver? Yeah, we mentioned that, just going through, not just coming to do analytics, but taking the problem from framing the problem and giving the solutions. So can you give an example of each of those? For AI, ML, where does ChatGPT fall? Trying to understand this question, but yeah, we talked about that already. AI is anything that the machine does. ML is more of using, you have things like linear regression, churn or no churn, being able to classify cat, dog. I mean, things like just being able to say this is a customer who can buy this offer, this is not the cost. But then it's just getting more advanced because ML uses less data and deep learning uses more data. Gen AI uses much more data. So ChatGPT falls under Gen AI. Okay, so please, after having knowledge about SQL, can I proceed with SQL, and what software would you recommend for a beginner to start with? Yes, you can proceed with SQL, and for me, the basic one is MySQL, but generally SQL is just a language that cuts across. For Oracle, you still use the same. For Postgre, you use the same thing. So you can Microsoft Server, you can start with Workbench, SQL. So if you follow the 90 days of analysis challenge, we did that. So you can just go through and add your SQL skills and maybe Python. Where you recommend the beginner to start from, I recommend you start from that 90 days of analytics challenge. That way you can also reach out to me if you have some questions. So you have some issues, you can always reach out. There's the Discord, there is the community that we've built. So it might be easier for you when you're blocked. So could you share your LinkedIn? Can someone please just share? I don't want to leave this window and come back again here, so that we can also go fast. Okay, please expand on what you mean by links to project. Yeah, so in the 90 days of analytics challenge, we did something like using GitHub to be able to do your projects locally, put them on GitHub, and then have a link that you can post on LinkedIn, on Twitter, even on your resume, that here is a sample project I've done, so that an employer can click and see and then call you and say, come and explain to me more why you did this, how you did this. So it's using that GitHub, Git and GitHub to be able to push your projects to your portfolio, creating a portfolio. Anyhow you want to create a portfolio, it's just about having a portfolio and sharing that link so that somebody is proof. So proof of work. So in the 90 days of analytics challenge last year, we did it. So you can just go towards, I think, day 80 or so, and you would see the GitHub things there. So how could I become a data engineer? They are just like in this session, I'm talking about data analytics and science. There are people who are more focused on talking about data engineer. Just try to follow them and be able to learn or join sessions like this. And that's how you're going to become a data engineer. Now, how could I get an entry-level data engineer job? Should I start as a data analyst? Yeah, and it is an interesting question, Elvis. For someone from a non-computer science background, it would be easier to start as a data analyst from my point of view, because you understand charts, you understand the business, you'll be able to explain what the trend. I mean, let's invest more money in marketing, let's invest more money in the equipment. But for data engineering, is more of coding, being able to make sure that the data pipelines you can catch the big data, which is coming with high volume. And at times you're coding something you don't see. I assume that the data is moving from here to here. Okay, I don't know where's my data. That guy can't receive it, but I think I sent it to him. So it's more of, if you are from a computer science background, it's very easy to get into data engineering. And if you are from a business background or finance or biostatistics or whatever, somebody mentioned here, medicine, whatever, you could easily become a data analyst. But all again, they are all ways to get into tech. They are all entry-level roles to tech. Data analyst, data engineer. Machine learning is more senior level. So can you also use ACL tool as someone learning data analytics? What's ACL again? I don't know. I've had too many things in my head, but maybe you can come back with that question. As we thank you for this, I wish to know if the machine learning machine language will be on AWS. Yes, SageMaker, like I showed you, is some things on AWS. Amazon Bedrock is on AWS. But then there are so many things that even without AWS, you need to understand. You need to understand regression. You need to understand how the deep learning, the neural networks, all these things that I've mentioned here, activation functions, forward propagation, backward propagation, some things that are not dependent on a platform. But then if I have to do some practical work and I'm more versed with the AWS cloud, that's where I'll show you. But it's almost the same thing on Google, on anywhere. You just take that knowledge to, just like the 90 days of analytics challenge, we're more of teaching you how to solve problems like an analyst, despite of we don't care about the technology, about the platform. So did somebody have a question? You wanted to step in with a question before I continue with the next question? Okay. In the chat, can you share the link to the YouTube channel? Please, can someone share the link just so I don't leave this page? That would be great. And how do we use Python for data analysis? Yeah, Python is very versatile. That is like a Swiss knife for data analytics, because you can use it to be able to do everything that Excel does: charts, cleaning your data, deleting columns, querying, doing, and even more, because you can even use it to build predictive models, build Gen AI, have a self-driving car using Python. So it is very, very powerful and very versatile, very dynamic. And now it has to do with code. So with Excel, you were using your drag and drop, you are seeing what you're doing. But with Python is more of your writing lines of code. Say, okay, maybe this column should be deleted. Delete this column, one line, and it deletes the column. But in Excel, you have to use your hand to drag and delete, and you see that it's deleted. So, but it does the same thing, and even more, because it can go into production. You can use it now to build a web page, so a front-end website of your application, so that somebody can come, log in, click, then be able to get the analysis that you want you want to do. So it can take you from data analysis. That's why we said in the machine learning challenge, we are going to do Python for data science, because you need to understand packages like Seaborn, Matplotlib, NumPy, Pandas. But if you were doing it for web development, you'll be using things like Django, Flask. So, and if you were doing it for DevOps, you'll be doing more of the scripting kind of Python. So it's a Swiss knife, and it's very effective for real. We don't use it often for small companies. Data analyst doesn't need it, but for bigger companies, automation, Python would be helpful for you. So in the 90 days of analytics challenge, we did Excel, SQL, Python, Power BI. You could just go there, look at it, even the introduction. Every technology I was sharing, I started with an introduction. So you can always go there, get the introduction first, understand first what you're doing, then you go into it. Thanks, Elvis, for your confirmation. Thanks, Gaum, for sharing those links. I'm very grateful. So, Alex, I wish to know if there will be a session on how to work on AWS, since I benefited AWS credit. Okay, yes, I remember you benefited AWS credit. Yes, in the challenge, we would also be having because if I have to build something like with the Bedrock, for example, I'll need to build it on AWS, and then I'm going to also share with you how to be able to use that. So maybe that's a good idea. We could have a session of how to get started with your AWS account, especially as you have the AWS credits that you won last year, so that you can also be able to navigate and use them to learn and build stuffs and share. So what's your thought on R versus Python? Yeah, very, very good question. The thing is, you can use R and Python both for data analysis. For data analysis, R is superior to Python because of visualization languages like ggplot. It's very, very effective to be able to give you stats. R was meant for statistical analysis. But then, if you want something more versatile, something that can lead you to machine learning, Python will do that for you. Something, yeah, but it isn't diverse. Yes, thank you. So Elvis responded. So, but Python can make you to be able to build a self-driving car, to build a robot, to do Gen AI, all new packages that come up. They have they are compatible with Python. But then you go, maybe say on AWS, for example, you want to build your Gen AI with Amazon Bedrock, you can only do it with Python. You can't do it with R. Okay, so I think that answers that question. So do we have any other questions? Because we don't want to keep people too long. I think the essential things have been said. So how about big data or Hadoop or Spark? Yes, big data is just the fact that your data is coming at a high volume, high velocity, high veracity. I mean, your data is so overwhelming that traditional systems can't handle it. So that's why you need somebody who knows how to handle that speed, that variety, that vivacity. So that is why you need Hadoop or Spark. Their job is to catch that data, distribute it to different CPU, different computers. There's a master node, there are the task nodes, there are the data nodes. So it's like somebody is able to be an orchestra, share that data to you do this thing, you do this thing, you do this thing, and remembers who has whose job that is doing, and replicate it. So if one person goes down, the same job you are doing, two other people are doing that same job. So if you go down, two people will continue that job. We can't lose that data. So it takes the same thing, splits it or multiplies it, splits it, multiplies it to 3, give 3 people to do the same thing, 3 people to do the same thing, and it's watching everybody. So it's not a simple MySQL select star from, even though SQL is what is used in most of those big data, but it's a whole new problem. Harnessing that data first, not losing anyone before getting analysis from it. I hope that satisfies you. Yeah, who should recommend it? It's a good question. It just depends. Hadoop, yes, was what was there before. Spark is, I think, the fourth, or is it the fifth generation? And I know the latest one is Apache Flink. So Apache Flink, if you want to compare its performance with Spark, Spark can stand what Apache Flink can do. But what's the problem? There is no community. It's not yet well integrated in AWS or other cloud, for example. You go on Google to ask a question on Apache Flink, you don't have somebody who has done it before who can support you. So right now, we are on Spark. And maybe this year, Apache Flink will take over its rightful position. That's technology. There's the community. There is the developer familiarity of that programming language. There is also the fact that what is the problem you're trying to solve? Can Spark do it, for example? Because Spark cannot do real-time streaming like Apache Flink. But Apache Flink can do real-time streaming and also do batch streaming like Spark. So it's a jack of all trades. But then you will not hear much of it because it's still young. That's technology. Let's move on then. Any other question? Do we have any questions? Any comments, any feedbacks, any regrets? Okay. So I think if we have no other question and we already have all the links, and then you can also connect with me if you feel like you want us to have more sessions, like you want to have the session on the machine learning, you want us to have a session on starting out with your AWS cloud or things like that. You have the LinkedIn, you have all the means to let's connect and let's see how we can together assist you to accomplish your objectives this year. But I want to say that data analytics is very interesting and it's going to be something that you would benefit a lot. Okay, I see it. Emmanuel, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Cyril.
Hi.
Good is evening over here. Good evening.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Should.
Yeah. So I want to know the date chosen for the machine learning challenge
Okay,
because
I'm
I
still
saw
working.
in the presentation. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, thanks for your interest. I'm still working on it, and so that I can be able to be sure about the recording, because again, I record every single video. It's not like a challenge that we just give you links, but I have to record everything and share with you. So I'll get back to you guys. Just stay connected. I'm sure we are connected on LinkedIn, right? Are we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes.
Yeah, let's just stay connected on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Even I think, yeah, we are on the WhatsApp group together. So just let's connect, and then I'll keep you guys updated. I'm trying to make sure that the pacing is right, because it's also tedious and along with other projects that I'm running. But thanks for the question and thanks for your interest too.
Thank you very much. All right,
It's going to add value to you guys. Yeah, thanks. So anyone interested, you let me know. That will also make me know what I'm doing. I'm adding value to you guys so that I can be able to focus on what will give you more value, because it's just giving back to the community. Okay, I have a question. How do I earn AWS certificate in AWS? Yeah, no, it's just very easy. You just get on AWS. They have lots of free training. You start probably with the cloud practitioner, which is just the beginner level, and then you would obviously grow, find your way up I hope you're part of like the community. We have a local AWS community in Cameroon. You can contact me as well if you want to join the group so that you can be in line with what is going on. There are sessions, there are opportunities to have discounts or things like that when you want to sit in for exams. But then just start. The key is do something, even if it's 30 minutes every day towards that objective, and you'll get there. Yeah, you'll get there. So I think we have, okay, Emmanuel, your hand is up, but I think we've already, I'll just lower your hand. So any question, any comments, any feedback, anything else, so that we can, let's say we have like 2 more minutes. We are already 1 hour 22. We're already 22 minutes above. I know it's an interesting session, and we've not had it for some time, but it's also good to meet and give you that, how can I say, explain to you what you need so that you can carry on with that energy throughout the end of the year. So again, I'm available. There are so many resources that I have. Okay, so here's a question. How long will it take to Excel data analyst from zero to hero minimum time dedication? Yeah, you can always start as soon as you're comfortable with Excel, like the person said, and then start applying even for small companies, small jobs. There are countries with small limited population, companies with small customer base. There are some companies that have even just five clients, 10 clients, and they manage them. Maybe they even know their homes where they stay. So there's always some where you can start, but you also want to improve your chances by keeping going on to learn. So as soon as you're comfortable with your Excel, your skills, like we saw there, and because your core skills are like, okay, I know what I want to do, but the technology is like, I can't do it by hand. I cannot be drawing charts and following my managers and showing them on paper. I need to share them a file. Maybe I need to share them a link on Power BI. I need to, so as soon as you're comfortable with building dashboards, for example, there are many BI analyst roles that I saw this year using Power BI. So you can always understand what you're doing in Excel because everybody's using Excel. That's where you get your data from. Understand how to build your charts with BI, and then you can always start working. But everybody has his commitment, and everybody has how he understands. I mean, the kind of how you're learning, how focused are you each session. So it's on every individual. But as soon as you can have your dashboards out, understand what you're doing in terms of visualization, you can always start. It's an entry level data analyst. It's when you start talking of data science, machine learning, again, that you need a bit more because it's programming skills and all that. So I think it has been a long session, and as I say again, I'm very available. You can always have a chat. We'll have to at least end some time. We have so many media you can reach out to me through. So let's continue this chat offline. My LinkedIn is there. Every way you can reach me is there. So let's continue. And also, I'm hoping to have feedback from you because I have so many ideas. I mean, ideas means I have so many things I could share with you, and so many of you could benefit from a couple of things. So at any point in time, try to reach out. Let us also see how we can bring out things that are helpful to the community that will also have a great impact in your career in 2024. So I hope we'll be meeting again next year, hopefully, to talk more on actually what happened now this year and how to prepare ourselves to keep looking forward to the trends. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much for joining. And I think we just have to call it a day. So thanks a million.